Welcome back. I'm Michael. You are listening to The Michael Dresser Show. Dr. Jamie Turndorf with us, a.k.a. Dr. Love, is known to millions and millions, has been seen on TV shows, and is the go-to relationship expert on CNN, CBS, VHI, WebMD, and the list goes on and on. She delights her audience, and she's done it for 3 decades now by engaging a blend of professional expertise, humor, and remarkable ability to turn clinical psychobabble into easy-to-understand concepts that transforms lives. Jamie, hi, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi, and welcome. By the way, and the name of your new book, your brand new book is Make Up, Don't Break Up, Dr. Love's 5-Step Plan for Reconciling with Your Ex. Jamie, with all the experience you've had over the 3 decades, do you find a common problem, a common symptom that you find with couples that they don't address because possibly they don't even know it exists? It's the cause of the breakups.
I want to answer your question, but here's the thing. We're having some kind of a funky tech.
Oh.
I'm just hearing on my phone.
Yeah.
The phone is ringing.
Oh, that's interesting.
You're,
You're,
I want to be able to be present to you and your list. Ringing while at the same time I'm hearing you.
Why don't we do this? Why don't you disconnect and then call back into the network?
I will do that because I want to be totally...
Yes, and I will ramble on about love.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. She'll be right back. Stay with us because it's very important, because in today's world with all of those divorces, the 55%, the people don't make it through the first time, the second time, the third time, relationships with people who just decide they don't want to go the old way, they don't want to get married because of the potential problems. What would happen? We'll ask this. If you could anticipate a problem before it happened, what would happen if you knew some of the challenges and roadblocks that could possibly happen to you in a relationship? And what if you fixed them before it actually happened? That's what we're going to talk about today. Jamie will be back. She'll be, is that her? Yes. Oh, she's back. Hi. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there we go. How's that?
You got me?
I've got you.
You got me. How could Dr. Love leave you just before we started? I'd be ditching you at the altar, right?
No. I'd be looking at a relationship problem.
It would be a premature relationship ejaculation or something like that.
Yeah, no, but absolutely no. What it would be a what happens in relationship? What causes the problems? Communication.
Well, I'm not talking to you. I hung up on you.
I got it. I'm going home to Mom. What do you think of that? And I thought of it before you started.
No, you just asked Dr. Love. So what were you asking me before I so rudely had to hang up? You were asking me.
Oh, okay, but yeah, but I want to do it this way. Anybody who's been in a particular business for 3 decades, and I've been a broadcaster for 3 decades and in communication 40 some odd years. You're going to ask me what I said 3 minutes ago? No,
heck? All right.
Oh, no, I think
back to now.
I remember. Okay, I'm back. All right. Put the timer on. I'm getting constantly. Over all of the years that you've worked with people, have you found a common denominator, some essence of something that causes people to not be able to have a successful relationship?
Yes.
Which is?
You want me to tell you?
No, we'll keep it secret.
I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah.
People don't listen to each other. People don't listen. See, you can fall in love, and we do fall in love, but love isn't enough to keep the relationship going. And I mean, this book, Make Up, Don't Break Up, talks about why we break up. The thing is, love isn't enough to keep you together. If you don't know how to resolve the inevitable conflicts that arise in relationships, you're going to break up. But in this particular book, I really give you a 5-step plan for why you broke up and how to get back together. Okay. And one of the things that people don't realize is that, you know how you have to feed your body essential nutrients? Well, you have to feed a relationship. I call it relationship essential nutrients. And they're different for men and women. And if you stop feeding each other these nutrients, your relationship quickly falls to pieces.
Okay, I want to touch on something. You said that that key element was not listening. Let's take it a step. Pardon?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's take it a step. I got it. Let's take it a step. I'm going home. That's twice now. But let's take it a step further. You know, we can listen all we want, but doesn't it fall into being able to hear what the person's trying to communicate underneath those words, because we get into a problem whereby I communicate in a certain way, so automatically I think that that's the way you communicate, and that doesn't necessarily work. We're in a relationship.
So you're not talking about the listening, which is the anatomical function of the vibrations going in to the eardrum.
You call that one right.
We're talking about, right? Listening is an active process where I'm actually conveying I truly heard and I understand what you're saying.
Okay, but let's go over that anatomical process, and let's take it beyond what goes into the ear. Let's go into what goes into that unconscious mind that connects to an image or a symbol that's familiar, and then they respond back to you. I.e., you and I are in a relationship, and you say to me, did I take out the garbage? Is it a question or an accusation? I listened to you, but did I hear it in the way that you meant it? And I think that, Jamie, is a major problem with so many people.
Now we're talking about, I have a book coming out in January called Kiss Your Fights Goodbye. Hay House is publishing it. It's a big release. And I'm talking specifically about what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because we all have baggage that we bring into the relationship from our childhood. I call it the old scars.
Sure.
And these old scars cause us to negatively distort what our partners are saying to us. We automatically hear our partners as the parent we had trouble with. So we're already thinking, like the perfect example of this is the wife puts down a plate of chicken in front of the husband, and he says, oh, is tonight chicken night again? And she says, you don't like my chicken? Well, you can go stuff my chicken. All he meant was how fast time flies. But She was going nuts because her father was critical of her mother was critical, so she negatively distorted what she heard. And this is the heart of so many relationship problems, because within about 18 to 24 months of a relationship, you start to have the transference kick in, which means your unconscious sees your parent and hears your parent when you are relating to your partner or spouse.
Okay, but the transference, and interestingly enough, is all unconscious. It's a recognition of something familiar, and you're having this emotional response to it. And I think that's where the major problem is.
Right, so I explained to people, how do you know this is happening? You're blowing a gasket, and it's disproportionate to the current triggering event. And you can't shake it. When fireworks are going off inside you and you can't shake it, that's your clue that you're having an unconscious association or transference back to the parent that drove you crazy. And just knowing that helps you make the association conscious, and then you can begin to heal the original old scar so that then you can see your partner for who and what he or she is.
Sure, because if I don't know what the problem is, I can't fix it, I can't work on it. And I think that in and of itself is most of the problems that go on. It just here, how about this? And I probably mention this 500 times a week just to get the point across. You and I meet, we decide to get into a relationship. I'm going to show you how I love you every way that I possibly can. But for me, love is a wink, a look, a tone of voice, expression, something. So we're going along, and I'm just loving you as much as I can. And for you, hypothetically, if I buy you something, it means I love you, but I don't know that. 2 years later, I walk into the house, you're all packed up, you're ready to go. And I'll catch you and say, what's going on here? Where are you going? I'm leaving. Why are you leaving? You don't love me. What do you mean I don't love me? You never show me. And that, I think, in and of itself is a key. We never ask anybody how they know when they're loved. And I think if you start that out right in front in a relationship, just as simple, how do you know when you're loved? And then once I know, then I can do all those things and give it to you in the way that you've learned to receive it.
Right. That's called the love language. And people don't ask, and there are different love languages. For some, it's actions. For others, it's words. Now, in the book that you asked me to talk about today, which was Make Up, Don't Break Up, I go beyond the love languages to something even more universal, which I call the relationship essential nutrients, because there are ways that differ for men and women, how we need to be fed. What men universally need to feel fed and loved in a relationship is different than it is for women. And in Make Up, Don't Break Up, I explain what those relationship essential nutrients are. For example, one of them, I give you the whole thing in the book, but here's one. Sure. Men need to be appreciated. Because if you think about what the male gender role is all about, guys are about action, performing, producing. And when they love a woman, they want to do for her. So if a woman is not appreciating a man for what he's doing for her, he doesn't feel loved. Now, for a woman, women, no matter how much money they make or how successful they are, we're still hardwired to feel we want to be protected and provided for. It's just built into our biological programming. So women need something that I call emotional providing. We need to feel that this guy is here for us for the long haul. So men have to give you the feeling, you're my number one. No matter what, you're first in my heart and my mind. That doesn't mean I'm standing there with you holding your hand every minute, but I give you the right feeling. Like my husband, when he would go off to work, he'd often give me a call as he was crossing the bridge and say, I'm thinking of you, I'm seeing the sunrise or the sunset, and it's not the same without you. He wasn't with me. He could go to the moon. It doesn't matter, but he gave me the feeling, the emotional providing. You're special to me. You're my number one. So women need that. And in Make Up, Don't Break Up, I explain not only the general love language that we know of, but these specific emotional nutrients that differ. And most relationships fall apart, I agree with you, because we're not feeding each other in the right way. And that connects up to what we said a few minutes ago, that the transference kicks in. I start to see you as my critical parent. I hate your guts. I jump down your throat. Then you hate me back. Now we're fighting with each other, and then there's no feeding going on. So.
Sure. No, absolutely. No question about it. And realistically, Jamie, where do you learn these things? It's not in high school. It's not in college. This is when you get out on the street and then you fall down, you get back up again. Sometimes you never get it. Yeah.
Tell me how you got so incredibly emotionally intelligent. I mean, this is you. I mean, you speak this language, you get it. Is it because you fell down and that's how you figured this all out?
Years of doing stuff.
Amazing. It's really remarkable talking to you because very few people get it on the level that you get it.
Yeah, because when we really come down to it, and I don't want to get into this too deep, a reaction is nothing more than an emotional reaction is nothing more than something that's followed by a chemical reaction, an emotional reaction. And realistically, the way we make our decisions, you feel good, you get one chemical. You don't feel good, you get another one.
Yes.
And when we
bag of chemicals.
Yeah, and when we get it, then all of a sudden we have choice and we have the ability to move through.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem is when you're making these associations back to childhood, I call it the emotional lake effect because when our minds work by association, they're constantly comparing present-day events with the events that we experienced in childhood.
Somatic marker.
And we're doing this consciously, right? And we're dipping into the well of the unconscious. This is why I call it the emotional lake effect because, when a storm passes across the Great Lakes, it picks up strength and moisture, right? And it makes the storm much worse. Well, our unconscious does the same thing. We're dipping into the well of our unconscious. We're dredging up all the old feelings, the intensity, the pain, the hurt, and now we're dumping this on our partner. We don't know why fireworks are going off inside us because we're remembering all the similar past offenses from when we were young, and we don't know it. So when the fireworks are going off inside you and you can't shake it, that's how you know the chemicals are flowing from all the past wounds and offenses. And so that's your clue to say, whoa, hold your horses. This is obviously not only coming from now. And when you can do that and consciously stop and say, what did he say and what did it remind me of? And who spoke to me in that way? That is it possible I might be wrong? And I have a whole method for how you check it out. You smooth the ruffled feathers, And that's
let me
really
say that,
deep.
yeah, Jamie. Let me say that in a different way. I'll give you a personal example. I'm 8. True story. I'm 8 years old. I'm standing in front of the mirror in the bathroom. Got my cowboy hat on, my cap guns, and I'm screaming, yelling. I'm playing. I'm having the greatest time. Well, my dad walked in and laughed at me and just completely and totally shut me right off. Just humiliated me. Now, as an 8-year-old, that was the last time I played out loud in front of the mirror. I played, but quietly to myself. And as an adult, I got it. I work with this all the time. But as a teenager, you didn't talk down to me. You didn't laugh at me. And more than anything else, you didn't embarrass me. There would have been a fight, an argument, a something. An unconscious activation of a memory to a recognizable association or an experience triggering a reaction. Okay. And then somebody once said to me that my dad rejected me. And we were sitting there having a cup of coffee and a conversation. And I said, what do you mean rejected me? He died. But the absence of acceptance is rejection. And
totally.
Yes, and I went, and what I did in my 20s, I went through 3 really good relationships that could have been great. I forced them to leave to prove I was right about myself. And that is that unconscious thing that goes on. You can be in a relationship, and that person that you're in the relationship is getting hit for everything that happened to you when you were 20 years, 30 years younger, and you're not even aware of it, and you can drive them away just to show that you're right. And it's all unconscious, you're not even aware of it. See, somebody left me again.
Right, so the whole point of my work is to make all this conscious. And I have a method where I show you step by step how to basically, like you're reeling in a fish. From your intense reaction and all those chemicals that are running in you, I show you exactly what to do. It's a 5-step process, how to hold your horses, how to, take a step down memory lane, compare the present event with past events, make the link, then check out to make sure that you actually are interpreting what's going on now correctly, and then smoothing any ruffled feathers. And this, of course, helps with relationships that are in conflict. It also helps you in terms of a relationship that's broken up and helps you get your ex back.
Where were you 40, 45 years ago?
Darling, I wasn't born. No.
That's when I needed you. Oy.
Horrible. You're adorable. And, I created a special gift just for your listeners. Did you know that?
No.
You want me to tell you about it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what I have is, if they go to makeupdon'tbreakup.us/Michael Dresser, it'll take them to a special page just for the people listening to your show. And I also had my webmaster send a special link to put on your website and post on your social media just for your people. They go to that page, and it'll, if they just sign up, put their little email address in there, they will get an 18-page report explaining, the basic method that I've got here, my proven X-Pack method. And that's just for your people.
Jamie, let me tell you why I think you're extremely important now. Because of the cultural changes, the transitions that we're going through today, the mass confusion out there, the fear that we get through all of the myriad of messages we get in the media and the confusion, that most people they're taking it out on the people that they love and they live with because of that fear.
Oh, right.
They don't know where to express it at. So I really believe your message. Right. Yeah, I really believe your message is there, and the 5 steps that you just said, it's spot on, and more people should be taking advantage of what you're offering.
You're a doll. I'm really glad we found each other, because it's wonderful to speak with people who are as evolved as you are and who vibrate on the level you do. Because I started doing this. I was the first relationship advice site on the web, started 20 years ago, the beginning of the web. And now, of course, this is a niche and there are a lot of people doing it, but I was the first. And this has been my passion, to really help people overcome the blocks to loving themselves and others more fully.
Sure.
So I'm really wonderful that there are forums like yours out there that bring the word out, and hosts like you who are as wise and evolved, because I'm thrilled to know that you're doing what you do.
Oh, thank you. And one thing I wanted to correct during the show, 45 years ago, it was 15 years before I was born.
Wait a minute. Am I older than you? I'm going to get really depressed.
Okay,
right
no,
now.
wait, no,
What
here we
year
go.
were you?
Oh, wait, I graduated high school in 1960.
All right, you're older than I am.
Respect the elder wisdom.
You're older.
Okay. All right, as long as we're feeling good. Jamie, hey, thank you so much for being on the show.
I really enjoy you, and I'll have to have you come on mine.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. I'd be glad to be a guest.
Wonderful. Take care and have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Brave and faithful.